Everybody all set?
Mm-hmm. Roll.
Mike, you good?
Good,
Okay.
thank you.
Yep. Okay, well, we've worked through a couple of additional roster decisions for us. So we've informed Josh Tomlin that he'll begin the season in Columbus in AAA, and that Carlos Carrasco will open the season in the rotation. And we've also informed Scott Atchison that he will make the opening day roster. And that leaves us with 13 pitchers, 8 relievers. I know Tito would like to have 12, but we have 8 for the moment, and 12 position players.
How tough a decision was it with Tomlin and Carrasco?
It was a really tough decision. I think both guys had good camps. I think what we tried to do is make a decision that was not solely focused just on the opening day roster, but what gave our team the best chance to win as many games as possible over the course of the season. And part of that is making sure that we have enough options and enough depth. As we saw last year, we didn't get to the 3rd game of the season before we needed another starter. So having starting pitching depth is really important to us. We talked about putting Josh in the bullpen and opening the season with him in the bullpen, because he might very well be one of our best 11 or 12 pitchers. But in the end, we didn't feel that was fair to Josh, nor the organization, because we do feel like he is going to be, or he is, a major league quality starter, and he's going to help us this year in the rotation at some point. It just won't be opening day.
Is there one thing you want to see him, as you send him down to AAA, you want to see him work on or improve on through the process?
With Josh, there's not a lot of development left.
Right.
It's more him just getting the turn every 5 days in the rotation and continuing to put the injury further behind him. He's completely healthy now. His stuff has returned back to pre-injury levels, but he's missed some time, so just getting back in that routine of every 5 days and getting the consistent work is important. But in terms of development, there's not a ton left for Josh to do.
How important was it to see Carrasco kind of bounce back from the bad outing, or even within some of his outings, if he had a rough spot, kind of come back and show you that you can quickly make an adjustment?
Yeah, seeing Carlos respond the way he did in the last start was encouraging, but again, we're not making the decisions based upon any one outing. I think we've asked a lot of Carlos this spring, not only to come in and compete for a spot in the rotation, but he's working on and trying to carry forward some delivery adjustments. And so it's hard to be working on things and competing at the same time, but Carlos has balanced those pretty effectively this spring. And I think the key, we've all seen it with Carlos, is there are times he'll go out and be dominant, and other times where he's been less consistent. What we're working with him on is trying to make sure he maintains some level of consistency.
How much do you think it's mental for him? I mean, it seemed like when he came out of the bullpen last year, it was a lot more effective than when he started sometimes.
I think for any player, performance, there's a combination of physical, fundamental, and mental. Our job is to try to work with each guy and try to get those 3 to align as best as possible.
You guys have been so patient with Blake Wood through his recovery and his process. Is it kind of rewarding to be able to tell him, yeah, you're on the opening day roster?
It is fun in that respect. I think Blake's worked really hard to get back to this point, and even once he regained his health, he was working on some adjustments to make sure he did some things and was a little bit quicker to the plate, and some other things he was working with Mickey on. So, and actually the manner in which Tito told him was pretty cool. I'll let him give you the details on it, but ask him for that story. So.
With him though, when he said today that how cool it was that you had faith enough to pick him up 5 months after surgery, what did you see in him, I guess?
We had the benefit of seeing him pitch against us with Kansas City, and it's a guy that we liked for a while, even in the minor leagues. And he had great arm strength, and we thought when healthy he would be a really effective major league pitcher. And so we were committed to trying to see that process through, and are pleased with what we've seen so far. And he earned a spot this spring by the way he pitched.
When you make a decision